In a world where the line between life and death is as thin as a thread, join Bella Baxter, a woman brought back to life with the brain of her unborn child, as she moves through a world filled with quirky, moral, and unpredictable individuals. The film opens with a researcher named Joe Don delivering a talk to a gathering of physicians about anatomy. Many of the medics are taken aback by Jaden's altered visage, and a peer named Max informs them that Jaden is fixated on anatomical scientific studies to the extent that he tests on himself, demonstrating Max's admiration for Jaden's forefather and his scholarly pursuits. Post-lecture, Max engages Jaden in conversation about his routines, and Max is astonished when Dawn requests his aid with a novel scientific venture, to which Max consents and accompanies Jaden to his abode. Max encounters a young woman named Bella, in her 20s, yet she acts like a toddler. He learns from Max that Bella is his current project, and that she has endured neuronal damage while her body remained unscathed. He elucidates to Max that her cognitive growth is sluggish, and solicits him to monitor Bella's conduct and log her advancements routinely. Commencing the subsequent day, Max starts to scrutinize Bella and document his assessments of her actions, and within a couple of days, Mix observes Bella's capacity to assimilate 15 terms daily and her rapid cognitive assimilation. He inquires of Max about the whereabouts of his homeland and his progenitors. Max declines to respond and urges him to focus on his tasks. Yet that evening, Jeddo narrates a tale to Bella. She inquires about her progenitors, and Jeddo reveals that they were his acquaintances who entrusted her to him as they embarked on a scientific journey to South America, only for their vessel to founder and they perished at sea. Since then, he has nurtured her. The following day, Max instructs Bella on the denominations and locales of nations on a chart. Max communicates to Bella her reluctance to exit the domicile. He asserts that he cannot authorize this without Godwin's approval, prompting Bella to express her desire to explore the world. He concedes he cannot deny Bella's plea, so he consents, and Hugh Max escorts her to a park where Petco resides. Bella revels in her surroundings. After some time, he discerns a crowd approaching, prompting him to advise Bella that they must return home post-haste. En route, Bella yearns to alight from the vehicle to purchase ice cream, but Gideon demurs, fearing public scrutiny. Bella's vociferous outcry and altercation with Godwin compel him to sedate her to avoid drawing attention, a task solely challenging for Mix. Upon returning, he proceeds to the library and peruses until he uncovers a tome detailing Gideon's experimentation on Bella. As Max grapples with the revelations in the book, he confides in his grandfather that 2 years prior, Bella plunged from a bridge and succumbed to the ocean depths. He stumbled upon her by chance and endeavored to rescue her, but upon emerging from the water, she had already perished. He transported her body home to conduct experiments, only to discover Bella was with child and the unborn was still viable. He embarked on an audacious experiment, transplanting the fetus's brain into Bella's, which proved successful. Her intellect flourished progressively, and the infant's mind endured. Henceforth, she is deemed his offspring. Upon concluding his discourse, he implores Mix to maintain this affair in strict confidence. He informs Max of his intent to formalize their agreement. Max consents and approaches Bella, declaring his wish to wed her. Her comprehension falters, prompting Max to elucidate the concept of marriage and the union between a man and a woman, aspiring to share a life and family together. Subsequently, a solicitor named Duncan arrives bearing the contract. The neighbors inquire, revealing Duncan's astonishment at the contract and his eagerness to inspect the villa, which he exploits. Feigning a restroom break, Duncan explores the villa until he encounters her. Bella's allure captivates Duncan. He divulges to her that Grandpa Num intends to confine her indefinitely. He proposes an excursion, assuring her delight. Bella informs Grandpa No of her intent to journey with Duncan. Despite his resistance, her resolve prevails, and he acquiesces. Realizing the unfolding events, he confronts Bella in her chamber. He expresses his dissent regarding her travels with Duncan. Bella nears him, promising his return. Abruptly, she succumbs to unconsciousness. In time, Maxo discovers Bella's absence. He consults Agden and Belomo, advocating for Bella's voyage, touting its potential to enrich her life experiences, a testament to the experiment's triumph. He solicits a reward from Mix for his cerebral contributions. The following day, Bella finds herself in Portugal, marveling at the populace and vistas. Departing the hotel, she permits Duncan his slumber, venturing solo through the streets. Despite her incomplete cognitive development, Bella navigates numerous locales, interacting with myriad individuals, yet unable to return unaided. He implores her to refrain from solitary excursions, fearing disorientation in foreign terrain. Accompanied by a bank and 2 companions, they visit the market, where the bank is taken aback by her demeanor. He would feel deeply mortified before his companions. He copes admirably, unafflicted by mental turmoil, for he remains oblivious to Jaden's experimentation on Pylop. The financier debates with Bella, instructing her to withhold speech until the meal concludes. Bella, vexed with Duncan, ceases communication, yet the morrow finds Duncan preparing to escort her to France via maritime vessel. Pla revels in the oceanic panorama, a novel spectacle for her, and aboard the ship, she encounters Marissa and the forthright Harry, Harry, whose intellects she esteems greatly. Pla dedicates ample time with Harry and Marissa, who show a predilection for extensive reading, while the NBL financier disregards her entirely. He persists not in her company, hence he endeavors to distance Bella from Harry and Marina by any means, yet to no avail, ultimately resigning to gambling. On a day when the ship docks, nearby the lodging, a collective of impoverished souls seeks assistance. Bella's inclination to aid them is thwarted by God, who admonishes her disassociation from these individuals, and thus she retreats to her digital haven. Her spirit plummets, her respiration alters. She envisages a realm devoid of destitution or want. Amidst Dan's slumber, surrounded by currency, she amasses the funds, secures them within a container, and intends to bestow them upon the observed needy. Yet the vessel's departure precludes her disembarkation, and a pair of ship's crew, seemingly bereft of reason, beguile her, seizing the capital with assurances of charitable distribution. She returns, bereft of possessions yet with an unburdened conscience, believing the wealth will reach its intended recipients. In stark contrast, Ben is aghast upon discovering the financial depletion, elucidating to her the finality of their resources and the jeopardy of their voyage's continuation. Upon their French arrival, Ben Kenobi and Law find themselves pavement-bound, with Ben manifesting remorse over Bella's inclusion in his travels. Bella assures him that she'll discover a way to resolve their issue. Thus, Bella roams the avenues of Paris seeking employment to make money and encounters a brothel proprietor. The lady exploits a distinguished lady who is clueless about her profession. She permits her to sell herself for cash, and upon her return, although the bank has provisions and funds, she confesses to Duncan her actions. He becomes enraged because she served as a prostitute, seizes the cash, and abandons her, departing alone. Consequently, Bilal revisits the brothel manager and implores her for a job, since she's penniless and homeless, and naturally, the manager consents. He acquaints her with the operational procedures, and she opts to remain a prostitute for an extended period. Time passes, and it's revealed that Blah is frugal with her earnings from her occupation and begins medical studies. One day, Blah stumbles upon Ben accidentally on the street, and he divulges to her his destitution and hunger, recounting his prolonged presence there and pleading for aid, yet she declines to assist him and departs. Concurrently, they are conducting a novel experiment identical to Blah's, and the subject is a girl named Sweeney. However, it's evident that Bella's intellect isn't as advanced as hers, possessing minimal comprehension and requiring ample time to execute requested tasks. The following day, Max gets a missive from Dan Camel revealing Bella's plight, and he earnestly implores Max to voyage to Paris, vowing not to return without her. Heeding Jaden's counsel, they set off to find Duncan, and Max is aghast to learn of Bella's involvement in prostitution. He feels powerless to extricate her, as Hyatt's edicts prevent him from entering such locales. Furthermore, he fears assault by the domicile's proprietors, so he retreats to Maxwell and Jaden, urging them to forsake him. He dispatches a note to Belle, signaling his desire to meet her ere his demise. Swiftly upon receiving his plea, she hastens home and approaches Jaden. Distraught over his impending demise, she's taken aback when Belle inquires about the infant within. It's known that Bella underwent an operation, and her medical knowledge led her to realize her pregnancy. Jaden, having conducted the surgery, now begins to narrate her tale from start to finish. He reveals the intricacies of the operation he conducted on her, where he transplanted her infant's brain into hers as part of an experiment. She visits the bridge where she previously perished, attempting to reflect on her existence but to no avail, and returns to encounter Max and Pete by herself, informing Max that she's aware of everything. She implores him not to hold her accountable if he was aware of their plans, but remained inactive. Max explains that at that time, her mind was immature, and he doubted her capacity for understanding. But Bella proves to be self-forgiving, which is why she's embracing life anew. Seizing the moment, Max proposes marriage, and she accepts. However, on their wedding day, a man named 2000 interrupts, claiming to be her spouse Victoria, and revealing that Alf has been searching for her, having disseminated her image widely until Duncan located her. Alf pleads with Bella to return home with him, and she consents, driven by a desire to uncover the reason behind her suicidal act during pregnancy. Discovering that 2000 is a tyrant who mistreats his staff, she realizes he was the cause of her previous despair. Consequently, Bella informs Alf she's unprepared to cohabit with him. She resolves to return to her newfound life, but Alf, refusing to let go, menaces her with a firearm, threatening her life if she departs. Pla intervenes, disarming Alf and wounding him, then transports 2000 back to Bidge Dune for treatment. After extracting the bullet, Pla announces the surgery's completion, yet hints at another impending operation, requesting 2000F's sedation. Meeks, confounded by her intentions, complies with her directives. The following day, they encounter Bermutu. She departs without him, leaving him and Max B grieving his demise. Eventually, it's revealed that Bella performed surgery on 2000, transferring his brain to a goat and implanting his brain into Sweeney, who now exhibits enhanced comprehension and enjoys life in the garden, indifferent to the individual who once shattered her existence, her paramount dread being her own mortality. This is it for today. I will reconnect with you with another story like this. Until then, this is your host for Movie, Recap Vision, signing off. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications to catch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.